Hey there, everyone. It is ThatWakefieldGuy here, and this is my little documentary we're going to be doing. I'm joined here today with Doug Hit TV.
Hello.
And Tinman4103.
Hey.
And if you haven't guessed from my videos yet, which my question is why, we're going to be doing a little documentary on real-life Star Wars planets. What we're going to start out with are planets that are inside the solar system, then planets outside, and then we're going to move on to super Earths. All right, so this what the whole deal with this is we're going to explain the real planets, and then we're going to give our thoughts on why we chose what they were, and if they were to harbor life, what the life would be like on there. First one we're going to be talking about is Mars. And Mars is probably the best candidate for a Geonosis-like planet. And what I mean by that is, obviously it's rocky. If you look at Battle of Geonosis and you look at Mars, they're practically the same place. It's funny because we're actually going to be sending people there in the next 5-10 years. Mars colonization. We'll just go with that one right now. What would you think about that? Oh, what would you... I don't know.
We'd probably try to make it as, like, close to Earth as possible in how to inhabit it. Like, we'd probably try to make it so we could actually breathe without, you know.
Oh yeah, the whole the whole terraforming thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can terraform right now. It's just going to take thousands of years in order to completely terraform the planet.
Yeah.
So we damn sure have the technology to heat up a planet. All right, we'll move on to the next one, and this planet in the Star Wars universe is really not that well known because it's only in there for like a few seconds. It would be the resting place of Ki-Adi-Mundi, which is Maigito, and the strongest candidate for that one would be Europa. And if you don't know what Europa is, which I'm sure quite a few people don't know, is a small, well, no, I shouldn't say small, but pretty sizable moon off this in orbit of Jupiter. Europa has a bunch of, it's an ice-covered planet, and it's hypothesized that there's a ocean underneath it, and that's one of the candidates for a future base to be put on there so we can, you know, interstellar travel and stuff like that in the future. There was actually a movie that was made called, I think it was just called Europa. But I'm pretty sure it was called something else, where it explains what might actually happen if we were to send a manned probe under the ice of Europa. So what would you think the life would be like under there, since it's like almost hypothesized to be an ocean? And what would you think the colonization would be like there?
It'd be really hard, because we'd have to find different sorts of ways to find like build some sort of stable ground on it, or unless we were to like build a building on top of an ocean where the building will just float pretty much everywhere. So that'd be a challenge.
Yeah. The other challenge would be drilling into the ice too, because if I'm correct, the ice, I can't remember how thick the ice was, but I think it was somewhere near half a mile thick or something like that, if I remember correctly. So that'd be a challenge, and the challenge is if there is life down there, how would our probes and how would our manned probes survive?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have no idea if there's anything under there. The next one, there's actually more planets that are like this, but the one in our solar system that's close to the resemblance of this planet would be Enceladus, which is which would be like Hoth. Why I say that is it actually snows on Enceladus. And that is one of Saturn's moons. There's been places that have been measured up to 100 meters in snowfall, which means your typical AT-AT walker would probably sink right into the snow. And there's more planets, and we'll get into those once we go outside of our own solar system. So what would you think colonization or life would be like if there ever was life on there?
We'd need a crap ton of coats, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know if we would be able to colonize that, to be honest.
Because there's a lot of planets people think we're going to colonize, which in reality is not going to happen. Earth, obviously, would be like an Alderaan or Coruscant, because it's basically our home base.
Yeah, it's inhabited by
It's inhabited by
A
us.
whole plethora of species.
Okay, and the last one, a terrestrial, or yeah, the last one in the solar system rather, is would be Venus. Even though it's a terrestrial planet, it's a potential candidate for a cloud city because it's just too hot to settle on the surface right now. As Venus is, it's just hot. It's volcanic. It's everything that you don't want to be a part of. Now we did all the solar system. We probably should go outside. The first one would be Kepler 86c, which is basically like a Besman. It's all it is a gas giant and a potential area for another cloud city. But the only issue with that is it's 1,200 light years away. So we'd have to find out the secrets of interstellar travel before we even get
We'd
there.
have to build some hyperdrives.
So by the time we invent interstellar travel, we'd already have the technology for floating cities in the sky. Another one, Kepler 47c, which is basically a Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue with that is it's not terrestrial. The other planets I did a little research on it. Only one is terrestrial, but there's not much on it. But this one's a gas giant again, but it's home to binary sunsets, and there's one, and I'm thinking this is the one that doesn't have 2 suns. It has 3. So you'd see 3 suns in the sky. There's really no colonizing this, sadly enough. So, oh, and this is, by the way, 5,000 light years away. If you guys are willing to book your tickets to see a binary sunset,
Woo!
this one's a funny one to try to pronounce. It's Corot, Cora, I guess we'll just call it.
Cora 76.
7, yeah,
Cora
70B or 7B.
76.
And this one's 480 light years away. And this one's the closest candidate for a Mustafar system. And if I'm correct, this one is so hot that it glows red. And it is a lava planet. It is terrestrial, so there is rock there. But this one's just so hot that you really can't do much with it.
There's
But
no point in even trying to colonize it.
Yeah, there's really no point of trying to colonize it. But you know, they're gonna try anyway, just because hey, you know, we're people, we can do anything. Okay, this planet is kind of a long name, and it goes by the name. I have no idea why scientists do this stuff. As Ogle 2006 BLG 390, which is another Hoth-like planet that gets to around negative 364 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, the final one before we get to the super Earths is GJ1214b, which is...
BB-8.
Yes. Which is known as the Water World, which is the best candidate for a planet like Camino, which is a water world where the clone army was created. Picture you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and all you see around you is just nothing but water. That's the entire planet. And there's no bottom to this ocean except for when you hit the planet's core, which is nothing but ice. And I forget what that kind of ice they call it. I think they call it like Type 2 ice or whatever they call it. And this one is actually could be inhabited someday, from what people are saying. Alright, now we've reached the final part of it, which is the super Earths. And we're going to start off with the most Earth-like one, which is Kepler 452b. And this one is the most Earth-like, and I think, if I'm correct, it's voted the first as potential colonization for future humans. And this one I chose to be for Kashyyyk. If I'm correct, this one is, I think they said this one is the closest one to us, if I'm correct, which is about 48 light years away. Yeah, the super Earths are definitely going to be colonized, or colonizable. The second one was Gliese 667c, which is 1.8 scale, or 1.8 radius the size of the Earth. And this one's potential for Endor because not only it's the second potential colonizable super Earth, and again to be like another forest-like planet. So, and obviously life is going to be different on different places. So, what would you think might be the case there?
Ewoks.
Oh, I wish. This one, if I'm correct, is like 150 light years away from us. And the last one that we're going to be talking about is Kepler 62f, which is 1.4 radius size of the Earth, and that one's a potential candidate for Yavin, which I think is actually around a gas giant.
It's obviously a lot more inhabitable than other planets we've gone through.
Oh, definitely.
In this little list you've compiled.
Oh, yes. Any final thoughts?
I think a lot of this is pretty interesting. I mean,
Yes.
the similarities raise for, some pretty interesting discussions.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Star Wars movies and many science fantasy-ish movies, they don't, entirely base this stuff. Star Wars especially.
Yeah.
Doesn't, go out of its way to make it, to make their planets scientifically accurate.
Yeah.
But when there are some similarities between the systems in the movies, or,
It's kind of
the expanded universe or any of that.
Yeah.
And if there are similarities between the planets in the franchise and some planets that actually exist, it's kind of cool to discuss.
So yeah, don't think for a second that all of these planets are colonizable, because in reality most of them aren't. They're just there. They might be developing planets. Camino Waterworld is more than likely able to be colonizable, but you'd have to build something like
floating devices,
like Subnautica type water base, or the City of Rapture or something like that. You'd have to build something similar to that. But even then, that's going to be a challenge with the ice that's on the core. And the Super Earths, the thing we have to worry about is if there is other civilization. Because chances are, with the universe being as infinite as it is, there's other civilization out there. It's just we haven't found it. But the real question we should be asking is, should we find it? All right, so yeah, that's our little podcast / documentary that we did. I hope you guys like this. This is my first attempt at a documentary / podcast type thing. Yes, I realize that, Tim.
It was very off the cuff, so I mean,
it's out of nowhere.
Obviously, it's not going to be as structured.
Yeah, obviously.
As most documentary type things you've seen.
Yeah, it's just something to just mess around. Okay, so this has been ThatWakefieldGuy here with Doug Hit TV and Tinman4103. And stay tuned for more videos, more Let's Plays, obviously. I'm going to try to get these two on my show at some point.
I'm going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be there. So yeah, if you like my videos, any of my videos, rate, comment, subscribe down below. Have any ideas for me, put them in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.